36 years of ministry, an empty parking lot, and a cruise ship, and how they changed everything. This is what happens when you trust God to plan your life and you take that leap. October 31st, 2015, I closed the door, the office behind me, and in front of me is a totally empty parking lot. I walked across that parking lot realizing there was not one person giving me a hug, saying goodbye, shedding a tear. There was no sad farewell. What happened? Television does it differently. Why wasn't my life this way? Trust me, it had all happened prior to this, but it was a feeling of emptiness and loneliness that day. The good news is 24 hours later, Alex and I were in New York City, boarding a ship, and soon passing the Statue of Liberty, headed on a beautiful cruise that was taking us to Florida, and the beginning of the next chapter of our life. I'm going to share transitioning from 36 years of church ministry, the reality of leaving our home of 40 years, how faith guided each step, the real talk about retirement finances, finding community in a new state, and what I've learned after 10 years in Florida. Accepting a position as operations manager in the late 1970s. Remember the term Girl Friday? Well, that's kind of what my job was for a while. If it needed to be done, I did it. But over those years, that need to get done and the go-to person grew and grew and grew. From the beginning was the bookkeeper. I became an event planner, probably everything in between. And then personally, I had a church ministry, so I was very involved musically in the church. You say goodbye to that, and now what? But before that, let's talk about the reality of leaving a home of 40 years of a big house, 4 bedrooms, a full attic, full basement, two-car garage that we never got to park in. Can you get the picture of how much stuff was in this home? And we were moving to a fully furnished home in Florida. We had to get rid of everything, and now suddenly it was a tough goodbye. But we did it. What we were taking to Florida was in the U-Haul, being driven by our son who left earlier that day. We're walking through the house. It's all different. The colors are different. The gorgeous floors, the hardwood floors that were refinished, we are leaving them behind. They were beautiful. And there's not even a place for us to sit. And we have a few hours till we get there. So we are out back on the picnic tables that are staying behind, next to the pool that is definitely staying behind, the beautiful shrubbery and the colors that we would get for season, the gazebo, the whole shebang we're saying goodbye to. Pull out of that driveway, and again, there is no Hallmark goodbye. Nobody's there giving a hug or a kiss or a wave goodbye. Another feeling of kind of loss. So many times in our life, we are trying to make decisions and we have choices, and we just wish that we had the answer. What is the right decision? This was one that we knew without a doubt God was leading us the entire way. It was a dream that we had always had, but it was never shut down through the years. Alex really wanted to live in Florida. So we just gave it to the Lord way early. The timing for my retirement wasn't just age, it was time. It was appropriate. It was time for me to move on. Financially, it was difficult for us to stay where we were. And God just opened every single door. Alex, the non-techie, would be on the computer for 2 years prior to this, and he'd be looking at communities all over Florida, and he found where we live. Without a doubt, this is where we were to be. We even came down just to be sure a year ahead of time. When we came down, we put a little note on the thing saying, this is what we're looking for. We got a phone call saying, we know somebody who may be selling her home. We gave the call. She says, yeah, I'd love to show you my house. So when we get off that ship in Florida, 2 hours later, we walked in the front door of this home, and we knew almost immediately this was our future. There you have it. This is the house God had for us, and we have not questioned it or doubted it once. Did someone say God leads you the wrong way? Never. Don't believe it. If he's in charge, if he's opening doors, go through the door. Look for the next open door and keep going, and trust him to keep you in the right direction. The financial shift in our retirement. As much as you plan and you know that you're going to be okay, we had no idea how that first year was going to pan out. What those expenses were going to be here compared to what they were before. We knew some were less, but we found out some were more. And so, year one, we were going to live as frugal as we could. We made this a game. It was fun. It was fun. And at the end of the year, we found, okay, we are really in good shape. It was a super discipline on how to manage, excuse me, on how to manage our finances through this journey. Finding community in a new state. So I had mentioned that Alex had already done a lot of the footwork. He knew he wanted this state. He knew he wanted a 55 community. Plus, he knew he wanted a block home. We found this community, and it is perfect for us. But transitioning to a smaller community with the rules in a place that we are so thrilled, it's amazing. The only disappointment now is that Disney somehow got farther away. It takes us twice as long to get there. It takes us twice as long to get everywhere because growth and traffic here is insane. So what we have learned after 10 years, the first thing I learned is if you retire at 62, the next 3 years you may find yourself wishing away those years because it kills you to have to be suddenly paying for your own health insurance. I really didn't like wishing for 65. So if that's something you're going to have trouble with, you may want to reconsider when you retire because it was ugly. Who wishes 3 years away when you're 60s? You don't have that many left and you don't want these to go by. When you're 18 and you're looking for 21, yeah, we all wished for that. Besides, it got us through college a little quicker. But that was one of the things I learned and I didn't like. Another thing is it really is so important to get connected, whether it's through church or some clubs, volunteer situations, and definitely your community. Get to know some of your neighbors and ideally get involved. And the last thing that we've learned, no matter what age you retire, along with retirement comes aging. And 10 years after retirement, we're starting to feel it. Yeah, but again, that traffic is getting crazy. So the areas of the state that we wanted to explore become more difficult, and we're probably going to have to dive in and enjoy the beauty of bus trips if we want to see more. So that's kind of like the picture that we've been through for the last 10 years. If you're standing on the edge of some major changes in your life, whether it's retirement, relocating, or just reimagining your future, take that leap. Just move forward, find the open doors, and keep going. There is a beautiful new chapter out there waiting for you. So subscribe and join me for more story time, what journeys of faith, and how we transition in this journey as we age. If you're up to it, leave a comment and tell me what you've learned in retirement or what you look forward to. Have a great day and God bless.